They
for
don't
pay.
No.
We've gone over the fight. Just a couple of other things. Have you? Are you following the Olympics? Will you be here for it?
I am following the Olympics, from the outside, unfortunately.
Have they not tried to involve you at all?
No,
I mean, you
disappointingly.
did win a gold medal.
I know, disappointingly they haven't, and I reached out to them actually, because obviously I know we've got some good prospects, and I've reached out to them, but unfortunately they've blocked it. Harrison, they don't want Harrison involved, and I mean the good thing about Ian Irwin, even though Terry Edwards and me fell out, the good thing about Ian Irwin and Terry Edwards is that they flew me out to Athens before Amir Khan fought. I spent some time with Amir Khan before he went out. Obviously done great and won the silver medal. So they had the foresight to do that, and I think I offered my services to come over. When I come in for this camp, I was happy to come to Sheffield for a couple of days, and just talk to the lads and just.
Who knocked you back then?
Well, they knocked me back there. The ABA said yeah, it's
because I mean they've got Joshua, haven't they?
Yeah, they've got Joshua.
There's a parallel there.
Yeah, I mean I just think it's crazy. I mean I think you want to take it from all sides, wherever it can come, even if it's one day. I mean I flew all the way from America to Cyprus, even if it's just one day to come into camp, and despite what's happened as a professional, everything hasn't gone rosy as a professional, as we know, and definitely the hay fighters, as people have killed me, but you can't say that I'm not one of the best amateurs that's ever come from this country. And I know amateur boxing, and it hasn't changed much, and you definitely know with a young team like that my experience talking about the amateur and talking about the Olympics is something that could benefit them. Yeah, they got Richie Woodall, great, but I'm a current Olympic gold medalist, and I think it's a shame that they didn't utilise me. But such is their decision, and I wish them all the best. And obviously, Anthony Joshua and the lads, they seem like they're a great spirited team, and the girls as well. And I'm planning to come in for the semis and the finals. So,
as a spectator.
Yeah, I was talking with BBC about I was almost going to do BBC Radio, but I didn't. That fell apart at the last minute. So basically, I'll be just coming over as a spectator, as a former Olympic gold medalist for Great Britain. And
you're never a former Olympic gold medalist.
You're
an Olympic gold medalist forever.
Right. And you know what? So people think I've got no complaints. Where I came from and where I've got to, I've got no complaints. But this is about just finishing the journey on my terms, and I just want to see what I've got left. And I believe I've still got a lot left. And Saturday night is going to give me some indications for me to assess what I've got left. But obviously, if I can't beat Ali Adams, it's definitely over. There's no delusions about I'm going to be hanging around. But beating Ali Adams, I'll be moving on to the next thing.
And what would the next thing be for
Well,
you?
I've
would
said.
That be in Britain,
I've already said I'd love to have David Price, Tyson Fury, or in America, Seth Mitchell, or Jonathan Banks. Those are my four that I'd like. And because it doesn't make sense to me. Once I have this one fight to come back, then it's about me going for somebody to get back in. And any one of those guys is a test and gets me
Fury,
back.
presumably, because he's live on Channel 5.
No, but
got live
David Price,
TV.
any one of them guys, Pricey, Fury, Seth Mitchell, Jonathan Banks, any one of them guys, who they're all kind of like perfect point, because it's a real test. All of them guys are real tests, and it allows me to really get back. Because let's be honest, why have I come back? Because I've still got a desire, that I can be a world champion. I haven't come back to fight Ali Adams. I've come back because I still think I've got it. And the stuff that I'm doing in the gym, taking back over my training, I've taken back over my training. Me and Shadid's not working. And I realised that I lost some of myself. And part of that standing on that starting line with the David Hay fight is that I didn't believe in the game plan. It wasn't mine, it was Shadid's game. I didn't believe in it. And part of my thing, and maybe that's I've been such a control freak. And like when I control my environment, like the Olympics, I'm controlling my environment. Even when I turned pro and I fell and everyone, I'm controlling my environment. Everything's good. The minute I lost control of my environment, I lost control of myself. And that was Danny Williams 1. I had to sign with Frank Warren, I lost control of myself. Weren't able to perform. So, taking back control of me, you're going to see the Audley that most people know can go out there and put in a good performance.
Have you been following this H. Chisora business?
Yeah, I've been obviously.
What do you think should happen there? Do you think it should be taken?
I can't really pass an opinion because the thing I find is everyone is a contradiction. Frank does what Frank does, and Frank gets away with whatever Frank wants to do. But at the same time, the demand is the demand. It's one of those subjects where I'm not going to pass comment because I'm not going to sit on either side of the fence. But I know I'm going to watch the fight. If the fight gets shown, I'm going to watch the fight, and a lot of people are going to watch the fight. But I'm not going to get involved in whether it should happen, whether it shouldn't. Should they have fought in Germany? I mean, what I will say is that my my big idol, one of the greatest that ever done it. Lennox had 2 fights at press conference. Him and Tyson was a. People say how scandalous is this and terrible. Him and Hassan Rahman in the studio. It didn't take away nothing from Lennox Lewis, because sometimes you have to defend your honour.
You and Herbie Hyde at your
Me and
call.
Herbie Hyde, but that was because the public got involved. But I'm talking when it's just 2 protagonists. Sometimes it gets personal, and you can't. You can't expect it. Yeah, we're gentlemen, we're role models, but sometimes, I mean, I got nothing against Chisora, I got nothing against Hay now, you know. But I know if Ali Adams did push his hand in my face right there and push up his hand in my face, me and him would have got into it. Because you can't put your hand on me, and you can't come that close in my face. You saw it with Danny Williams too. Don't touch. I'm not into this touching nose together. I'm not into that. And Danny done that, and you saw what happened. Me and him kicked off in the press conference. So I mean, I just think people. That's the history of boxing. You know what I mean?
Okay, thank you.
Why do you think it's never quite happened for you as a pro? In terms, you have achieved something, but the old amateur Audley Harrison has never reproduced that as a pro.
Well, I have produced it. My fight with Rochelle Assisia, my fights with Danny Williams too. Those performances there are probably one of the, you won't see many heavyweights doing what I done in those 2 fights. You wouldn't. I just haven't been consistent, and that's the bottom line.
Why haven't you been consistent?
That's just who I am. I'm just like to walk my own pathway, and if I'm motivated for something, I will go there and get it done. Once I set my mind on it, I get it done. If I don't set my mind on it, or if the Hay fight, taking it for the wrong reasons, the first time I've taken it for the wrong reasons, I can't get the job done.
Is your dream still alive?
That's why I'm here. The dream is still alive.
World champion still?
I believe it. Because if I didn't believe it, it doesn't make sense me even starting the first fight.
Even beating a Klitschko?
Even beating a Klitschko. I have to believe that I can do it. If I don't have that dream, when last night I looked in the mirror, I said, Audley, why are you back? Just to confirm, I'm back to be a heavyweight champion. I'm back to finish my journey.
But you do understand most people will laugh at that.
That's okay. That's okay. Failure, my perceptions is not defined by other people. It's defined by Mr. Harrison, me. I'm walking my pathway. There's no map. It's the map that I'm creating, and wherever it end up, it's me.
Is this your best training camp for a long time?
It's been my best training camp for a long time, for sure.
So we're going to see the real...
Big Bear with the Hay fight wasn't a bad training camp. I just done it with one arm. I'm just keeping it real. I done the whole camp with one arm, 3 sparring partners, and the whole camp was fighting close because I couldn't use this arm. And then to go into the fight and try and box him long, it just weren't going to happen.
So you at your best can still beat David Hay?
Me at my best, yeah, definitely.
So if you got another chance, you would take that? Fully fit, fully ready?
My thing here, just being realistic. David Hay ain't on my radar right now. I've told you the 4 guys that are on my radar because that's realistic. There's no point in me being realistically. If I beat David Price, if I beat Tyson Fury, if I beat Seth Mitchell, or if I beat Jonathan Banks, all of them guys there lead me to a Klitschko. It doesn't lead me to a David Hay, unless David Hay beat up Chisora and then fight a Klitschko. So right about now, that's what I'm looking at.
Audley, talking about Price and Fury there, why do you think they would want to fight you? How would you sell the fight to them?
I don't need to sell the fight to them. I'm an Olympic gold medalist. David Price is an Olympic bronze medalist. I don't need to sell the fight. This fight, people want to see what I got left. The only reason why this fight on TV, because they want to see what I got left. So it's like my punishment for the Hay fight. Oh, you got paid. So we're going to keep him off TV. But win this fight and win it impressively, there's going to be opportunities to go back to where I'm supposed to be.
But if I'm Tyson Fury, I'd be saying Audley Harrison's lost to Martin Rogan. I beat Martin Rogan quite easily. I mean, how would you respond to that?
He's going to say he lost to Martin Rogan. He also destroyed Danny Williams in a rematch. So he's going to say what Audley's going to turn up. It ain't a fight that they need to sell. I've just come off Strictly Come Dancing, the highest rated show on television. You're going to get 3 or 4 million people watching it. They want to make money and they want to have people watching their fights. The guys that he's fighting. So there's not many other, because Tyson Fury, Price and David Price and Fury, there's not many other guys that they can fight now that's not risky, because if you move them up too high, they could fall. And if you keep them at that level, there's no one for them to fight on the British scene. So,
I mean, looking back at the Hay Chisora fight, who do you think's going to win that one?
I have to go with Hay, because I have to go with the boxer and the puncher rather than the slugger. But it's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a tough fight.
So looking towards the Olympics, someone like Anthony Joshua's got a good chance for a gold medal. People think, what would your advice be to him if he does win the gold medal? What would you say to him going forward?
Well, my advice to Anthony Joshua right about now is to get all of that. Just focus on the medal. Focus on, not on the gold medal, because that's what you're there for. We all know that. But focus on the process, the technical stuff that you need to do to get there. and that's what I'm relaying and I want to get to them.
I mean, do you have any regrets about going pro when you did?
No regrets. No regrets.
So you wouldn't say don't go pro team? Really?
No. He stayed around. I mean, the guy is 21 years of age. Looks like George Foreman. Just like a naturally gifted athlete. You don't see that every day of the week. A 21-year-old that looks like that can perform like that with that speed. When I look at him, I think George Foreman. So it's exciting to have that excitement. You got some of the other guys as well coming through, and even the girls. But I'm definitely excited about Anthony Joshua because I see
you as
something.
a consultant.
Huh?
The ABA should have taken you as a mentor.
No, well, I reached out to them.
Last 2 questions.
Okay.
Audley, can I ask you, Carl Froch is fighting on the same night.
Yeah.
How do you feel he's at the centre of the spotlight, whereas you have
It's all
taken the
good.
back step?
No, it's all good. It's like I've got Carl's been a great ambassador, and it's like I'm taking this fight. It's like the promoter, like I said, the date had to move. He said he couldn't move it on another day. It's a shame because you don't really want to go head to head with Carl Froch, who's been one of our great ambassadors. But it is what it is. He had to pull it on, and we move on. Okay.
While you're here, are you going to Wrexham?
You know what? I'm staying right in West London this time. So
Right. So is it
I'm in West, right?
How long
Yeah.
have you been training for this fight?
Well, quite long now because I had to pull out. So it's been good. Level in.
So you're well fit, you know it.
I'm a good nick for an old man.
I'm older than you.
I know.
Are we going to see a grade A performance?
Yeah, you're not fitter than him.
And they force promotion.
Hey?
You're not fitter.
Yeah, Mike, he said I'm not fitter than you, he's right.
Not this time,
Well, practice.
Maybe the London Divs. Maybe the London Divs against Judas Francis.
Perhaps just what you see is misleading, Audley.
You know what, I've realised I'm filming it from day one, really.
Day one. My first fight, I still remember it. He's a goose and he's wild. You won't remember that, Tony Wild Goose. I fought the police.
Oh, yeah.
Audley, will your weight be the same as the hay fight? You're coming in the same weight? Or?
I'm not even sure my weight. I
I have a
didn't
few
check my weight.
questions.
Okay.